Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Round 2 in downtown Detroit, and it did not take long before the two front runners on stage went toe-to-toe.
So this idea is a bunch of malarkey, what we're talking about here. The fact of the matter is that there will be a deductible. It will be a deductible on their paycheck. Bernie acknowledges it.
Under your plan, status quo, you do nothing to hold the insurance companies to task for what they have been doing to American families.
Yeah, if you wanted some fireworks, the second debate here at the Fox Theater did not disappoint in that regard. Just really 1 minute into the debate, we saw former Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris clashing over health care.
Yeah, we also had tense exchanges on immigration, criminal reform, and race in America as well. Our Mara McDonald is live inside the Fox Theater. Mara, tonight's tone, much different than what we saw last night.
I tell you what, Kimberly, last night's debate looks positively friendly and collegial compared to what went on this stage tonight. This was a slugfest from almost the opening bell. Some other key differences, a whole lot more Michigan and Detroit tonight, both in the questions and the answers. It was a far more contentious night on the debate stage, starting with Biden versus Harris on health care.
The senators had several plans so far. And anytime someone tells you you're going to get something good in 10 years, you should wonder why it takes 10 years. If you notice, there's no talk about the fact that the plan in 10 years will cost $3 trillion.
The cost of doing nothing is far too expensive.
Or Biden versus Booker on criminal justice.
There was nothing done for the entire 8 years he was mayor.
There's a saying in my community, you're dipping into the Kool-Aid and you don't even know the flavor.
When you're the front runner, you get more of the slings and arrows, and Biden got his, but he was far more on his game than the first debate. And while the candidates had many of the same questions as the round one candidates, they also got some that were tailored specifically to us. CNN moderators asking why Democrats lost Michigan and what they need to do to win it back.
We lost the state of Michigan because everybody from Republicans to Russians were targeting the suppression of African-American voters. We need to say that. If the African-American vote in this state had been like it was 4 years earlier, we would have won the state of Michigan.
Moderators did their best to make sure the lesser polling candidates had opportunities to speak. De Blasio concentrating on attacking Biden.
Vice President Biden, I didn't hear your response when the issue came up of all those deportations.
Gabbard, Bennett, Gillibrand, and Yang on answering questions.
If you go to a factory here in Michigan, you will not find wall-to-wall immigrants. You will find wall-to-wall robots and machines. Immigrants are being scapegoated for issues they have nothing to do with in our economy.
Inslee emphasizing climate change.
We cannot work it out. We cannot work this out.
And while the vast majority of fireworks were on the stage,
you said women working outside the home would lead to the deterioration of family. My grandmother worked outside the home.
So
my mother worked outside the home.
You probably heard some people yelling and protesting in the audience, and while it was probably hard to hear clearly at home, there were two issues they were yelling about. One was the NYPD officer who was still employed after Eric Garner's death, as well as protesters demanding an end to deportations. Back here live, the only person on that debate stage tonight who took more hits than Joe Biden was definitely Donald Trump, who was called everything from a racist to, as Senator Gillibrand said, if she's made president, first thing she's going to do is Clorox the Oval Office. We're live in the spin room tonight. Devin, Kimberly, back to you.
Clorox and Kool-Aid getting good hashtag
Clearly they were the winners
tonight.
Yeah. Well, just like during the debate, thank you, Mara. Just like during the debate, we expect a fiery spin room tonight.
Well, let's bring in our Nick Monticelli standing by inside right now. Nick.
Good evening to both of you. The spin room is just as chaotic as it was last night. This is where we stand to try to get all these candidates walking by to get their reaction from tonight's debate. Now, one of the big questions I want to ask every single one of them, it was brought up that there are some, according to the polls, that prefer to have a Democrat in office so badly they don't care who it is as long as they can beat President Trump. I want to get the thoughts from the other candidates on that, although I assume I would know how Vice President Biden feels about that. Devin and Kimberly?
Yep. All right, Nick. Well, let's bring in Local 4 pollster Richard Zuba. Richard, I guess let's start with, who do you think had the best night tonight?
Well, you know, going into this debate, we said the biggest question was going to be which Joe Biden showed up. Yep. And we got the answer very quickly. It was the old Joe Biden. He was prepared. He took a punch, but boy, he delivered a couple of punches back too. That was the big question. I think he was the winner for tonight.
By not absorbing anything that was fatal, for sure. And
right.
In fact, I think Kamala Harris, who we kind of saw the two of them shaping up just as we did in Miami, I think she got hit around a little bit more from others even than she expected tonight.
I think you're right. I think that hit from Tulsi Gabbard was probably the hardest hit of the night, the most unexpected hit of the night, and she looked a bit dazed after that
hit. She did.
Yeah.
So do you think her poll numbers will show that tomorrow?
You know, to be honest, I don't think any numbers are going to change coming out of this debate. I think everybody kind of did what they were expected to do. And I think one of the unique moments in this debate, honestly, was when Joe Biden specifically addressed Detroit and what he had done for Michigan and Detroit. And I think we have a clip of that to run.
Let's listen.
I was part of the organization and within our administration that pushed bailing General Motors out, saving tens of thousands of jobs here in this state. I also was asked, as the mayor of Detroit can tell you, by the President of the United States to help Detroit get out of bankruptcy and get back on its feet. I spent better part of 2 years out here working to make sure that it did exactly that.
Probably smart for him to mention that.
I think it was a very smart move on his
We heard
part.
quite a bit from Cory Booker about Detroit tonight as well, because he's got family ties here. He seemed to have a pretty good night. But, Richard, now that we've had 2 rounds, let's go back and group in what we saw last night among those 10 candidates. Did anything really change? Did the deck get shuffled at all in Detroit?
Well, I don't think the numbers are going to shift as a result of these debates. I think the real question is who makes the September debate. And I think the bigger question, I think if I were the Republicans, I'd be worried about the fact that for the last week, there have been 20 Democrats running around Southeast Michigan motivating Democratic voters. That was their problem in 2016. They seem to be addressing it in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. So many fewer voters than we saw 4 years before that. Are they energized enough to get out and vote again this time? That's really going to be the story in Michigan going forward.
Sure is.
Yeah, Richard, thanks as always.
Richard.
Great to have you here with us. Well, just moments ago, by the way, we should also look at what the other side is saying about tonight, and we received this statement from the Republican National Committee. We will read part of it here. Quote, once again, the Democrat candidates boasted extreme socialist policies and a government takeover of every aspect of our lives. End of quote.
Well, meanwhile, before the debate started, more than a dozen protesters were arrested for shutting down traffic at the Detroit-Windsor Tunnel. Traffic was disrupted for about 15 minutes or so before police got there. The demonstration was held to promote rights for undocumented immigrants.
We are going to have more live coverage here from the Fox Theater coming up about tonight's debate. We'll get to that in a few moments. First, let's send it back to Karen, who's in the studio following today's other top stories. Karen?
All right. Thank you very much, Devin and Kim, and we'll check back with you in just a few minutes. But first, still to come on Local 4 News at 11. Her 10-year-old son was hit with criminal charges for throwing a rubber ball at a school classmate. What the local mother is now demanding after all charges have been dropped. Ben.
Karen, it was a nice finish today, but it gets even better tomorrow. Humidity continues to go down even as the sunshine emerges. We'll look at where we go for the weekend coming up.
Warren police on the hunt tonight to find a man suspected of driving drunk. And get this, caught on camera, driving on the wrong side of the road, jumping the curb, and slamming into 2 parked cars. Hear from those involved next.
10,704 votes. Only 0.23% separated presidential candidates in 2016. In 2020, Michigan matters. Big. All eyes are on the Fox Theater and Detroit. 20 Democratic candidates. What will they say? And what do Metro Detroit voters want to hear?
Make sure that this person is authentic and speaks to the issues of the people.
Team coverage of the big debate moment. Devin, Kimberly, Mara, Paula, Jason, and Nick reporting live political moments that matter on Local 4 and Click on Detroit.